Hello, and welcome to the Peer Review Plus informational call. Today, we're going to learn more about what Peer Review Plus is, how it might benefit you as a forensic interviewer, or if you're someone within the forensic interviewing world that supervises others, this is also a great program for those that you supervise. I'm Mickey Lane, Senior Trainer here for the St. Louis Children's Advocacy Center. A little bit more about the St. Louis CAC, just so everyone kind of knows our history and what we have available. We are an accredited agency through the National Children's Alliance, and as part of our organization, we also have MoACTS, the Missouri Academy of Child Trauma Studies. And MoACTS is the training arm of the St. Louis CAC, and we help provide or function as a multidisciplinary training program that's really aimed at helping all child-focused professionals. Everything from the investigative MDT members like family service workers, law enforcement, prosecutors, family court, juvenile deputy officers, our pediatric medical personnel and mental health professionals, as well as our child advocacy center staff like forensic interviewers, advocates, and leadership. And our goal really is to help others become more trauma informed and prepared to work with the traumatized youth and their families. We're also a Category 2 site of the National Child Traumatic Stress Network, which is funded through SAMHSA. Now, and today we're going to learn more about why this program came about, what Peer Review Plus is, and hopefully answer most of your questions regarding it. So when we sat down to create a program such as this, we really focused on the limitations around traditional peer review. I've been in the forensic interviewing field since 2000, attended many peer reviews, have helped lead and set up peer reviews, both locally within my own organization, as well as regionally, statewide, and participated in nationwide peer reviews. And I kept coming back to the same thing. Oftentimes, there was a lot of passive observation that was going on. And so it really dawned on me that peer review is only as strong as the people and the process within it. That means that the quality of feedback often depends really on the experience and the skill level of the individuals within that group. And oftentimes, there is not a clear or shared criteria. Feedback can become too subjective or vague or even less helpful, which is not at all what we want for forensic interviewers and their professional growth. Also, group dynamics and relationships can make it harder for participants to give or receive valid feedback. On top of that, oftentimes there's very limited amount of sessions, very limited amount of time, and that may keep individuals from getting the specific support that they need. And so in the current form, peer review doesn't always provide the accurate, specific, and objective feedback needed for meaningful growth. I often feel like peer review, traditional peer review, and perhaps this has been your experience as well, often focuses solely more on the critique or the negative versus identifying current areas of strength in someone's practice and building upon that. So let's introduce what Peer Review Plus really is. Because when we think about how to advance professional development, we have to do things slightly different than have been done in the past. So that's why we're here. With limitations around traditional peer review, we want to focus on what's missing. And the biggest portion I find that's missing in most traditional peer reviews is growth. And that requires more than just observation. It requires engagement, true engagement from all participants at peer review. Sometimes I feel like I have attended peer reviews where the same person is sharing their interview and the same people are giving feedback, while others sit back and don't share or don't engage. We want to be able to hone in on our self-reflection skills, not only of our current forensic interviews that we're doing, but be able to reflect on the strengths that others are showing in peer review and be able then to use those in our own practice. And that takes understanding better what application is. So how do we take what we just learned in peer review and put it into our next interviews as those tips and tricks that someone has shared with us show up in our challenges of our forensic interviews? So we designed Peer Review Plus to be what we think is that missing piece to that professional development. And that means that Peer Review Plus is not just peer review. It's not just where everyone shows up, someone shares an interview, people give feedback, and we go on our merry way. It's a guided growth process. It's designed specifically by interviewers for their continued professional development. That means it doesn't matter if you're a brand new interviewer or if you've been interviewing for a couple of years, or maybe you're more on the seasoned side. A program such as this will help you grow as well as help those around you on your team grow in their strengths for identifying their decisions and choices within their forensic interviews and how to apply best practices moving forward. Active participation from all attendees is required in this Peer Review Plus cohort. And it has structured, facilitated sessions. This means that there is someone, in this case right now, it is me, that is facilitating the sessions and help guide and encourage others to give appropriate forward-focused feedback, as well as helping support the presenting interviewer in receiving and applying that feedback. But the overall focus is on skill building, not critique, but building on the skills that we are seeing and how to align with what is evidence-based practice. So what makes Peer Review Plus different, additionally, is that skill-focused feedback. So we've created structured tools for giving and receiving feedback that participants will have access to and practice with. The emphasis being around critical thinking. We really want to be able to speak to why and when we did something. What was the purpose? How can we defend it? How did we meet the needs of the child in that moment? Build on those self-reflection and action planning skills so that you know how to implement these best practices into your next interviews. Creating an environment that is supportive and growth-focused, not judgmental or scary. And it also, additionally, part of the plus to this program is you will receive 2 advanced training sessions, both 3 hours apiece, so 6 hours of additional advanced training specific to forensic interviewing, as well as 2 one-on-one consultations with the facilitator about your presentation and self-reflection, about your critical thinking, as well as how you gave and received feedback, how you were able to point to particular points in an interview to support another in their sharing of their current interview. Some other professional focus areas that we're going to be addressing overall is going to be making sure we're understanding how to appropriately build rapport, how to provide social support within the interview, as well as addressing challenges such as reluctance. We're looking at refining our questioning techniques and using those evidence-based practice knowledge, not specific to one individual protocol. So this cohort is protocol agnostic. That means it doesn't matter what current protocol you are trained in utilizing. Anyone can participate in Peer Review Plus that is a practicing forensic interviewer. Again, encouraging and honing in those critical thinking skills, as well as moving beyond just the protocol. Sometimes interviewers get stuck, almost like in a checklist of what they think they have to do. And this will help you learn better how to use your protocol to meet the child where they're at, while maintaining the tenets of your individual protocols. Peer Review Plus doesn't just stop at feedback, like I mentioned. We're really trying to build confidence, strengthen those critical thinking skills, and improve consistency in your overall interviews. And this is going to also lead to stronger, detailed child narratives where the child is the one doing more of the talking. I also believe wholeheartedly that when you are better able to master many of these skills, you'll be able to speak to the work that you do. You'll be able to testify accurately about your protocol, about the steps you took, why you asked questions a certain way when you asked questions, and why perhaps you did not ask certain questions. This will lead to more confidence and stronger self-assurance in the individual forensic interviewer. Because we're creating a supportive learning environment, it's important for you to understand that this is not a place where we're coming to have a gotcha type feedback scenario. Feedback is forward focused. And what that means is we're not looking at the should have, could have, would have. We're really looking at the next time this interview happens, a similar interview with struggles or reluctance or blocks or barriers, that we are going to apply the techniques and the suggestions that we learned in our peer review. We're going to recognize what each are doing individually, what their strengths are, and we're going to talk about how we can build on those strengths that already exist. We want to create really a space where people are led by curiosity, not judgment. So there's honest conversations and questions and honest clarity, honest feedback, and we're able to really take in that information without feeling critical or feeling attacked. We want to foster that respectful space where everyone can develop with confidence individually at their own pace. So you might be wondering, what does it take to be eligible for a program like this? As I mentioned, you must be a practicing or current forensic interviewer. You also have to have completed a recognized evidence-based forensic interviewing training model. Whether you're an interviewer housed within a child advocacy center or as part of the multidisciplinary team, this particular cohort will be supportive of however you do your forensic interviews in line with the MDT best practices. You also have to have a supervisor that really supports your active participation, is encouraging your professional growth. So if you're a forensic interviewer listening to this call, please make sure you're having this discussion with your supervisor. If you happen to be a supervisor who your job and role is supervising other interviewers, please take time to reflect on if you think that you can help support your interviewer participating on a monthly basis. I'm sure some of you have a few more questions, so let's address the most commonly asked questions about Peer Review Plus programs cohorts. First and foremost, we have a running application process. So we have a cohort going right now, and we will be starting a new cohort soon, and you can go ahead and apply if that's something that you're interested in. Once the cohorts are open for selection, if you have been selected, you'll be notified. And at that time, you can either choose to accept or you can be asked to be considered for another cohort in the near future. Another question we get is, what is the financial investment for Peer Review Plus? It is $600 per forensic interviewer, which comes down to about $50 a month that you're investing in yourself or in your staff member for their own professional growth and development as a forensic interviewer. If the training fee is a barrier to your participation, however, please send an email to moacts@umsl.edu and speak to them more about that particular barrier. Or if you have questions about being able to create a payment plan and divide it up, please also share that in your email as well. As we mentioned before, this is an agnostic training, meaning it doesn't matter what protocol you are trained in and practicing. This will meet the needs of any forensic interviewer and their practice. Spots are limited, however, so we only allow up to 10 forensic interviewers per cohort session. And that is, again, to ensure that active engagement and that everyone is receiving the support and the growth that they're looking for. If you have any other further questions about the program, how it's designed, or how we are implementing it, please feel free to reach out to me at mlane@umsl.edu. I'd be more than happy to talk with you more in depth about how this really could be a great investment in the professional development for your forensic interviewing. So if you're as excited about this program as I am, you can use the QR code here that you see on your screen to go ahead and apply, or you can scroll on the page where you found this video and you'll see apply now. Again, this is a rolling application, and so you will be notified if you are selected for the next cohort that's going to begin in a couple of months. You'll also find the due dates around some of those things as well as we get closer to the beginning of the next cohort. You also always can reach out to me or to the MoACTS website and ask more questions if you're just wondering the time frame or if this is what you're really looking for. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a good day.